after time after time. This little piece of fuzzy hair every time. We're gonna make it to my birthday with this hair, y'all. I'm gonna make it because I'm not doing my hair again before my birthday. That just doesn't make any sense. It's right around the corner. I'm gonna make sure everybody gets in here first before we start. I hope everybody's having an amazing, amazing day. It is Sunday. I hope everybody's day is starting off bright, energetic, feeling good. And if it's not, I hope that we can shift that around. I truly do. Let me send out my shares really quickly. But if you do not know me, you're just now joining, I want to introduce myself. Hi, my name is Kendra. I'm a plant-based lifestyle strategist. I'm here to support you in understanding how we're not supporting our body in healing, and we're not understanding our body's natural design. And it starts with the food that we are consuming, the things that we are eating, and showing ourselves love, because we deserve to be shown love, because love is an action word. And we have to understand that if we want to be sitting here showing our body and giving our body the care that we need, it all starts with the things that we are consuming. And so if you're consuming a bunch of crap, if you're sitting here eating or not eating enough because you need more nutrients, or you're sitting here eating a bunch of junk all the time, you're sitting here eating inflammatory dairy, you're sitting here eating meat that is not supporting you, you have to understand that if you're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, you don't know how to reset and release, and you don't know how to support your body in resetting and releasing. You are leading yourself to disease and illness. And why do we want to sit here and be poisoned by the foods that we are consuming rather than eat real whole foods and be supported and feel good? Because we do not understand the fact that, like, majority of these foods are literally filled up with fillers, additives, toxins that store inside of our body. And these toxins store inside of our fat cells, and they never get released on their own. And since they don't get released on their own and they store inside of us, we have to understand that this is where illness comes from, because these toxins cause inflammation, and inflammation leads you to diseases. So these people are sitting here suffering, thanks for the follow, from diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure. You're sitting here developing insulin resistance. Maybe you're on the brink of having any of these issues or any health issues in general. You have to understand that everything is stemming from inflammation. And so if you release that inflammation and you support your body in releasing that inflammation, you won't be leading yourself to disease and illness. You won't be leading yourself to cancer, because that's the end all be all where you're going. If you are completely inflamed and filled with toxins, cancer feeds off of that inflammation and that toxin buildup, because these toxins build up inside of you. They do not release and reset on their own because your body doesn't know what to do with it. Your body sits there and it tries to figure out, what is this? Because it's not a nutrient that I normally get. It's not vitamin A, C, D, or whatever. It's not a mineral. What am I going to do with it? So it keeps it and it stores it. And it says, maybe later on we'll be hungry and we need to use this. Maybe later on I can use this as energy. And you never use it because your body does not know what it is. It doesn't know how to use it. And we're never sitting here actually starving. And when we are hungry and we feel like we're starving, you're not actually starving to the point where your body is now just fighting and eating itself from the inside out. You just feel that way. It's a feeling. But that actual action of releasing and resetting and removing those toxins, it never happens because you don't know how to do it healthily. You don't know how to do it and support your body on the regular in doing it. So if you want to learn how to do those things, I'm here to support you in doing that. But first, we have to understand that, are we showing ourselves love? Are we giving ourselves the love that we need? Because love is an action. Love starts with what you're going to do. It's not about just words. Because we know, we see people all the time talk about how they want to lose weight. People talk about how they want to be healthier. They want to develop healthier habits. They want to go on a diet, but diet culture just never supports anyone. And they say all these different things about how they want to switch. They want to stop eating meat. They want to stop being unhealthy. They want to get off their prescriptions, whatever. There's a whole bunch of talk. But when people start to actually take action, that's when things are done and they're handled correctly and things shift in their lifestyle. No amount of talking is going to get you shifted. It gets you started if you have the right mindset of saying, I will, instead of saying, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. That whole thing keeps us in a tight bound. That keeps us in this place of complacency. Saying shoulda, coulda, woulda keeps you in this space of never changing anything. But if you start sitting there saying, I'm doing this, I am healthier because I'm doing this, you're reinforcing the positive, because we do not understand how negative we truly are. We do not understand how negative our habits are, and that's leading us to a negative lifestyle. But if we start to shift our ways of thinking and then we start speaking it into existence, the positivity, that's when we start to have the positive actions, because action has to happen. You have to have the action that leads you to the changes, because if you're just sitting there talking, action is never going to happen. But you do have to get to the action of wanting to change and actually changing. And so what does that change look like for you? It looks like you slowly implementing little small changes to your habits, whether it's you switching up how you eat, learning how to eat plant-based, but not doing it every single day, because I don't want you to sit here and force yourself into a lifestyle that is not going to support you, and force yourself into a switch that is going to make you want to stop doing what you're doing earlier than what you need to. But rather starting, okay, you're only going to eat meat once or twice a week. You're going to sit there and you're going to cut out dairy and cut it down to 2 or 3 times if you eat it 7 days out of the week. Whatever it is that's easily manageable for you, this is how you support yourself. And then once you get to that space, you start to see how easy it is. You start to see how easy it is to get into that space. You see how easy it is for you to switch your habits, and how it's not such a negative experience, because we love to sit there and say that like we don't like diets. We're sitting there eating salads, and I don't want to eat salads all day, and you love to complain about all of the downfalls of you being healthier. But you don't realize the fact that you don't know how to take care of yourself, and you don't know how to actually eat healthier. You just sit there and focus on what you don't want to do. But rather you should be focusing on what you can do. Because this lifestyle for me, for instance, I'm plant-based. This lifestyle is not limited. Everything that I used to eat in a non-plant-based form from meat and dairy, I used to make it. What I used to make with meat and dairy, I can make it in a plant-based form now. I do not feel limited. I don't feel stuck. I don't sit here and wonder and, get upset over food. I don't sit there and say anymore, I'm tired of eating meat. I'm tired of eating burgers. I'm tired of eating this. Because literally I have so much variety, because I have set myself up for success. But it all started with me shaping and framing how I view the lifestyle. It all started shaping and framing what I do, because my mindset was in the correct space. And so if you are in the space where you know that like you're stressed out, you're overworked, you know that you're not taking care of yourself, you know that your habits are terrible and they're not supporting your body and being healthy, you don't even know how to be healthy truly, because you believed in the diet culture, you believed in My Plate, you believed in the food pyramid, you believed in the Got Milk campaign. And these are the things that tailored you and shaped you when it comes to your healthy habits. You need to realize and to shift your parenting, because you have to reparent these unhealthy habits, and you have to first deprogram what we have been programmed to believe and what we've been programmed to do, and start to reprogram to realize the fact that we are taught to poison ourselves, and we are tired of poisoning ourselves. We're tired of being sick. We should be tired of being sick. You see all of these numbers rapidly rising. And so thank you for the follow. We don't do anything about it. We don't do enough about it. We might complain. Like I said, we use words and we say things, but we don't do it. We don't take action, because we sit there and say, I should work on managing my stress. We don't sit here and we don't say like, I am going to start managing my stress correctly. We sit here and we find ways to cope and to disassociate ourselves from our life. But we don't sit here and think, let me reparent my habits so that I know how to deal with stress now, because I was never taught how to deal with stress when it comes to being at home. I was taught how to take it out on others. I was taught how to sit here and hold it in, rather than you realizing the fact that when you're so stressed out, the first thing that you need to do is start to focus on your inner child and your inner teen. Start to do things that you used to love. If you know you used to love and to draw and to write, you need to go back and doing that if you're stressed out. If you realize that you're so stressed out that you can't manage and you can't function, you need to plan yourself a field trip. Make yourself an activity to do for yourself. Those are the type of things that you do for yourself to support yourself in realizing the fact that you're stressed and that's okay. We can make it through, rather than you holding on. Because we do not realize the fact that these terrible habits that we have from us not being taught how to take care of ourselves, and not being taught how to release and reset in any way, shape, or form, whether it comes to stress and decompressing, when it comes to releasing toxins because we eat like crap, or it's just us understanding that this society is programming us to literally poison ourselves. We aren't taught these things, and we never try to or even think about the fact that you can and you should be reparenting these things. You can and you should be supporting your inner child and your inner teen, because they need support. They're not gone. You just shush them. You just moved into this adult lifestyle that never caters to you actually still being an inner child and an inner teen. You still being a kid on the inside. And so you think about the fact that you've been taught this way all of your life to not express these emotions. You've been taught all of your life to sit here and eat the way that you do. You've been taught all of your life to not go against the person that's in your job that's above you that tells you to do this when you know that's not your job. And so you hold the stress in, you hold all of this in, and not realizing the fact that it's raising your cortisol. And since it's raising your cortisol, it's throwing off your hormones, because cortisol is a stress hormone. And when your body is stressed, it's putting your body in fight or flight mode. And so when your body is in this fight or flight mode, it literally is holding on to your things you're supposed to be digesting. It's holding on to the food that you're consuming. Because when you're in fight or flight mode, we all know the other systems that do not need to be functioning slow down, because your body's like, we don't need to focus on digesting right now. We don't need to focus on going to the bathroom. What we need to focus on is making it through. And so you sit here and you stay in this state for years on end. And that's the reason why externally you look aged. That's the reason why these people that do these coroners, they're doing autopsies on bodies. That's the reason why they're seeing that these people that are getting autopsies and they're passing away at a young age, they're in their 20s and their 30s, their organs are literally aged 3 times their actual age they have been on this earth. Because we do not realize that we're not taking care of our body correctly, because we are programmed to believe this normal diet culture is supporting us when it's really making us toxic and it's really making us sick, and it's not allowing us to discern and to question, because majority of us are malnourished. And we do not realize we're malnourished. That's the crazy thing. Most of us know that you're supposed to, or they think that you're supposed to have dairy because it gives you calcium. It gives you strong bones. You're supposed to have meat because it's giving you iron and protein. And you're supposed to have eggs because it's going to give you B12 and iron and magnesium and everything else. But you do not realize the fact that those eggs are leading you to high blood pressure. They're making you led to heart disease. This meat they're giving you nowadays, majority of it's GMO. And then on top of that, if it's not GMO meat, they're feeding these animals GMO crops. So either way, you're still getting fed GMOs. They're heavily stuck with some type of antibiotic, some type of shots, because these animals are not in the most safe environments. And then on top of that, you do not realize the fact that they're serving this to you in inflammatory oils, because you go to McDonald's and Burger King, you go out to eat at Chili's or Red Lobster or wherever else, and you don't question the meat or where they get it from. And they do not have to tell you that it's GMO, because that's literal law. It's a law. They don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell you GMOs are in your food. And you don't do any research or know the fact that GMOs literally trigger a cell inside of your body that feeds cancer. It produces cancer inside of your body. But you see, when you do a quick Google search, that all these farmers are backing up GMOs, and all these people tell you, we've been doing GMOs since the 90s. It's safe. But you don't realize that we are the first couple of generations that have been built off of straight GMO foods, non-real foods, genetically modified foods. There's going to be repercussions, and you see that. And I have the numbers right here to tell you that we are showing how the repercussions are. And it's already showing, and it's not even as bad as it's going to get. Because since 2019, they've been doing GMO animals, but they started allowing us to eat them in 2022, 2023. That's when they started allowing you to be able to consume them for the public, and they don't have to tell you when it's in your food because it's deemed safe. But you look at these numbers of the people that are having chronic diseases, and you literally see that since 2019, chronic illness was at 48% in 2019. Now in 2020, since 2023, it's ramped all the way up to 58%. It's almost at 60%. And so if it's at 58% right now, and we're not even ramping up the fact that like GMOs are producing cancer literally inside of your body, what do you think it's going to look like in 2027? What do you think it's going to look like in 2030? When are we going to sit here and we're going to put the facts to the actual environment that we're living in the social life that we have, and make the connections? And sit here and realize the fact that your brain and your gut are connected. And so if your brain and your gut are connected and your gut is off, your brain is going to be off. That's where mental illness comes from. That's where the mental stability is triggered, because a lot of people are sitting here, because literally the numbers do not lie. They're getting up to 50% or more, when we were down to 31% between 18 all the way to 44, with people having mental illness and being diagnosed. Now it's all the way up to 50%. And so you look at that and you see those numbers, and what do? You just keep on consuming the way that you are, not realizing the fact that your gut biome is not producing the pH that it needs to so it can digest correctly. So your digestive system is backed up, and your digestive system is backed up. So then now all your other systems are working overtime, including your digestive tract, to keep toxins lower, to keep yourself working and functioning the way that it needs to. And so you're sitting here thinking and feeling bad, and you're thinking like, well, I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm taking the supplement, I'm taking the prescription the doctor gave me, I'm taking this vitamin for this because they told me I should take this vitamin, not realizing you're not using real whole foods. No supplement, no prescription, no medication is going to give you the health that you need without the food. Food is medicine. So if you are not eating the way that you need to and supporting your body with the foods that you need to, you will never be as healthy as you need to. You will never be as healthy as you want to be. It all starts with the food that you are consuming. I'm not saying you cannot take supplements. I'm definitely telling you don't need to take medications or prescriptions. But I'm not saying you don't need to take tinctures and supplements. What I'm saying is that if you are not eating the way that you need to, you're wasting your money. No medication is going to help you. No prescription is going to help you. And supplements and tinctures can help you along the process of being healthier, but it's not going to support you the way that it can if you were eating correctly. But that all starts with you being aware of that, because doctors will tell you to go out and get a fish oil supplement, a B12 supplement or something. When you're lacking magnesium or something, you go get a magnesium supplement. But they don't tell you the fact that you can get every single nutrient that you need from fruits and vegetables. There is no lacking in B12 if you're eating everything that you need when it comes to greens. There's no lacking in magnesium or iron if you're eating all the greens that you need, because majority of the things that we need come from greens. Majority of every vitamin and nutrient that we need comes from a fruit or a vegetable. You do not have to have meat and dairy. Society has programmed you to believe that it's normal of consuming and over consuming meat and dairy, because even you look in scripture, people were not sitting there eating meat the way that we were. They weren't consuming cow's milk at all, and they weren't eating meat like we do. We eat meat with every single meal, at least if it's not a little snack for you in between. And I'm not speaking just because I've been through this lifestyle all of my life. I've only been in this lifestyle for 3.5 years. I'm 25 years old. I went 20 plus years in the lifestyle of eating meat, eating dairy, consuming all kinds of crap, eating Slim Jims, sitting there eating honey buns, sitting there eating, what are those little Debbie cakes, eating a bunch of junk, eating hot chips at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting there eating Takis and hot Cheetos, sitting there eating ramen and completely inflamed. I was absolutely overweight, could not stay in a healthy weight, was constantly having issues with weight fluctuation because my metabolism was so low, but I was so active at the time. I was playing 2 or 3 sports at a time. I was playing 2 sports at a time. And one time I was playing 2 sports a year in different seasons. And so I started to realize the fact that I was having knee pain in 5th grade. Why in the world am I having knee pain in 5th grade? Why in the world am I developing asthma in high school? Nobody in my family had asthma. Nobody in my family was sitting there wearing knee braces at 5th grade. And I'm sitting there dealing with painful menstrual cycles, not knowing what was going on with my body and not knowing how to support my body. But once I started doing research in 2020, I started to understand what was going on with our food industry. I started to understand how to truly support my body with the foods that I'm consuming, and started to learn how to make plant-based recipes. I started to understand how the impact of the stress is doing on my body. And I started to understand the concept of what they're doing with these GMOs and what they're doing with society, with us being overpopulated and not making enough food. It started to make me realize that there's an agenda against the natural design food that we have on this earth when it comes to Mother Nature being able to produce fruits and vegetables. There's an attack on us knowing and understanding the true authentic design of ourselves and the temple that we have, and understanding that our body was designed perfectly and it's designed to heal. Yes, we understand the fact that nothing on this earth can be perfect, but the reason why is because of the action of man. And so we sit here and we take actions that literally make us unhealthy and harm our body, rather than taking actions to better ourselves and to support our body. And I was there. I was one of those people. But I shifted out of that space and I started to see my body heal. I no longer have knee pain. I no longer sit here and have to take an inhaler. I haven't used or had re-upped on my prescription in over 3 years. I'm going on 4 years of being plant-based. It's been over 3 years since I've used my inhaler. And the same thing with me having all the knee pain, and I was developing hip pain and back pain. Don't even know where my knee braces are. I have not worn a knee brace. I'm starting to run again. I could never run without a knee brace because I felt like my knee was gonna pop out. I'm starting to run. I literally gotten to the point now where I can sprint for 3 minutes and I'm not using a knee brace. I'm not doing anything different. I'm not having to take a leave or an Advil after I get done. And I am only 25, but you have to understand that, like, I was told at 18, by 22, I was going to have a knee surgery if I kept playing sports and running. And so, like, yes, I was young, but my joints were not young. My joints were not healthy. And I drank milk at least 2 to 3 times a day. I was drinking all the milk. Like, literally, I could go through a gallon of milk in 2 days. Like, I love milk. And so I'm sitting there like, how am I drinking all of this milk and my bones are suffering? How am I doing this and X, Y, and Z? And they're telling me this is giving me this nutrient. This is supporting my body this way. Yet I'm still suffering and not getting all of the health that I need. I started to shift and I started to realize it's because it's an agenda. It's because they're sitting here poisoning me. It's because I'm sitting here believing this box of what's normal and not questioning anything, not going back to the basics of the beginning and realizing the fact that the Most High did not put me here to be sitting here eating a bunch of crap. He didn't put me here to sit here and poison myself. Yes, I still enjoy snacks. Don't get me wrong. I'm still eating a snack. But I know the ingredients. I know how to read it and tell if it's from a natural source or if it's something from crap that's man-made, like titanium dioxide or citric acid that's made from black mold. Why are we sitting here putting mold in our food to make it not mold, to conserve it? You're putting black mold inside of food to conserve it. When we know when something has mold on it, you're not supposed to consume it. Why? Because it makes you sick. Yet we sit here and eat these things like citric acid and don't realize the fact that majority of these companies are not using actual citrus to make citric acid inside of their products because that's more expensive. But black mold is cheap because they can cure that in a lab and nobody's sitting there fighting over black mold. And so you have to realize that you're not even doing yourself a due diligence to at least ask these companies what their citric acid is and where it's derived from, because they have to tell you. And if they don't tell you or they try to ignore you, then you know where it's coming from. Because if a company is truly giving you the top of the line of ingredients and they're ready to prove to you that they are, they're going to quickly reply. And I know this because I've done it. I have asked companies that actually have good products what their citric acid is, because I was shocked at first because I didn't think any of these companies used actual citrus anymore, because these companies found out a long time ago how to make citric acid from black mold because of one of the companies that makes y'all's hokey pokeys that y'all love to take. It starts with a P. I'm not going to say anything else. They started the company that makes the fake black mold, citric acid. They started the company. You can look this up. This is literal facts on Google. They started it, and after they started it and they realized how much of a profit margin they had, I think they sold it to a company in China. So now they produce it over there in China, but it's still for the low. It's still cheap. And these companies know that they get it for cheap. And so they use it because nobody's fighting to use black mold for anything else. And so they can put little tiny increments of black mold inside of your food and say that it's safe because it's only in small increments. But if you have citric acid, thanks to the follow, if you have citric acid, which is made from black mold, from in every single product that you have on the shelf. So let's say that tonight you're cooking with this. Let's say it's a pasta sauce and it has citric acid. And then also your pasta has citric acid. And then let's say that you also used garlic in the can that has citric acid in it. Now you have 3 different things that you have used with citric acid. And let's say that you also want to make some garlic bread that's from the frozen aisle that has citric acid in it too. Now you have 4 things that have that citric acid in it. You have 4 items that has black mold in it. And majority of you are not eating the serving size. So you've doubled or tripled your serving of the black mold with that one product that you're consuming. We have to realize and we have to put 2 and 2 together that we are not consuming in moderation. We're told that we consume in moderation, because it's normal for us to overeat. It's normal for society to not be healthy. There's literally 650 million people that are sitting on this earth right now, 650 million people that are dealing with obesity and cannot figure out how to get out of that space, because they're thinking that diet culture is going to support them, or a supplement is going to support them, or they truly do not know and understand how to release and reset, because it is so easy for you to be able to lose weight. And I'm speaking from a space of somebody that was over 200 pounds that could not get under 190 their entire life. Literally, the last time I remember seeing 150 on the scale was when I was in 5th grade. I was a heavyset child. And so here I am now, and I'm the smallest I have ever been. On top of that, the healthiest I have ever been. And I'm not trying to be skinny, but I'm just wanting to be healthy. And that was my goal for myself. But it all started with me releasing the fact that what was normal was supporting me, because it's not. It's not supporting us. And on top of the 650 million people that are dealing with obesity, 1.9 billion people are sitting here on this earth dealing with being overweight, and are sitting here taking supplements, going and doing diet culture. You're doing Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers, and you're doing all of these different things. And you do not understand the fact that you doing this Jenny Craig and this Weight Watchers is literally still poisoning you, because they do not tell you the fact that the ingredients for these products that are Weight Watchers friendly or whatever else are actually good for you. They just tell you that these points are low calorie. This is a low calorie snack. This is a low calorie product. But they don't tell you the fact that it still has titanium dioxide, which is a food coloring and preservative that's literally toxic to your body. They don't tell you that it has a whole bunch of crap in it, like sodium phosphate, that is also a coloring and a filler that it literally stores inside of you that's toxic to the body. They don't tell you these different things, because at the end of the day, they're still making a profit and they're making money off of you. And if you start to eat the way that you need to, you will be more discerning. If you start supporting your body the way that you need to and you're supposed to, you'll be able to sit there and make the choices that are going to support you in decompressing from stress. You're going to be able to make the right choices for you to realize the fact that, like, you're mentally stable. If you're anxious, if you're depressed, if you feel like you're overly stressed, you'll start to release those things, and society will start to gain more footing and be able to actually sit here and make the correct choices. For instance, people that are older, and we look at younger generations, we love to look at them and be like, what in the world is wrong with y'all generation? Like, y'all all seem crazy. You know, these people have no morals anymore. You know, they're out here disrespecting older people. But we don't realize the fact that we literally have taught and passed down and programmed these habits to younger generations of not knowing how to take care of themselves and being mentally unstable because of the food that we're consuming. Because the food that you are consuming should be used as medicine. And if you are not using food as your medicine, you are harming your body and you're using it as your crutch. And it's literally keeping you ill, mentally and physically. So you have to understand that, like, no, they're not sitting there choosing to be crazy. They're literally malnourished. They're not taking care of their body. They're under the impression that this is normal. Them sitting there having all of this, you know, anxiety and depression and sitting here going through panic attacks is normal, when it's not. It's not normal. It's not normal at all. It's not normal the fact that, like, our ADD and ADHD cases are rampant now. Like, it used to be where it would be like a sprinkle every now and then a child has it. Now it's more likely than not a child has ADD or ADHD of some kind of diagnosis. And you look at these and you don't pinpoint the fact that it's because of all the crap that you put inside these children's body. You give them some Doritos and hot chips to go get them to sit down somewhere for a minute, not realizing the fact that you were literally amping up the issue that you had in the beginning, which is you wanted them to sit down. They're not going to sit down now. And then you're blaming them for not being able to sit down because they have a bunch of red dye inside of their system, which literally dyes their internal organs. You have to realize if you're eating things with red dye, blue dye, yellow dye, whatever, it does dye your internal organs. And so as it's passing through all of these systems and all these parts, it dyes the internal parts of your body. And so not only are you sitting there disrupting your hormones because you're dyeing your insides, but it's also disrupting your hormones of your reproductive system. And so now you have a woman that's having all of these issues when it comes to their menstrual cycle. You have a little boy that's sitting there developing issues when it comes to them, you know, going through their growth spurt. And we wonder why. And we're sitting there, you know, blaming all of these different things, not realizing the fact that it starts with the people that are producing these children and giving and passing down the habits. Because diseases do not run in families. Cancer, diabetes, all of these different diseases, high blood pressure, heart disease, insulin resistance, type 1 diabetes, type 2, type 3, none of these run in your family. It's the habits that you pass down that keep the disease running rampant through your family. The disease keeps sticking with your family because none of your family has broken the curse of realizing the fact that you keep passing down cursed habits, terrible negative habits that keep your body in a fight or flight mode, that keep you ill, that keep your body stressed out. So everybody in your family has organs that are aged 3 times their actual age. Everybody in your family develops cancer by the time that they're 30s and their 40s. Maybe it's ramping up to 20s because they do not understand that they are literally passing down toxic habits to each generation. The same toxic habits. Your great grandma had some type of IBS symptoms, which led them to having some type of liver cancer, and you have liver cancer, your mother had liver cancer. It's not because it runs in your family. It's because you keep passing down the same crappy food habits of eating like a slave that's keeping you in the space of consuming like a slave and then developing cancer. Point blank, period. And so when are we going to realize the fact that, like, we all have to release the fact that what is normal for our culture, eating chitlins, eating fried chicken, eating any type of meat, any type of dairy, any type of food with additives and fillers, with soy and citric acid, sodium phosphate, like all of this crap is poisoning us. And if you do not know how to read labels, if you do not understand these food labels, I do have an amazing $11 ebook. It's only $11 that is going to show you how to start reading these common toxic ingredients, what they are, what they're doing to your body, as well as it shows you how to read labels and to be able to switch the products that you have. And it's just a start. It's not like you have to go plant-based today. It's literally showing you products that you would possibly know and recognize that you currently have that are healthier alternatives. It shows you how to get away from red dye, for instance. It shows you how to get away from all this crap that you are not consuming in moderation and truly poisoning yourself with. We are not understanding how terrible our habits are. And when are we going to realize that we are passing these habits down and it's time for us to shift and it's time for us to change? And if you want that change for yourself, if you want to release the stress that you are putting on your body, release the anxiety that you're putting on your body, if you have panic attacks, if you're going in and out of depression episodes, and you want to release that for yourself, come work with me and I can support you in doing that. Currently right now, I do have a bundle that is going on until my birthday. My birthday is July 17th. I have a bundle that is going on where if you book a one-on-one with me, that price is the original just for the one-on-one. So you're getting 3 for 1. If you book the one-on-one, you get a strategy session with me that will support you if you have any questions, if you need any support, as well as it will support you in understanding how to go to a plant-based lifestyle and transitioning to a plant-based lifestyle, and will support you through that. And it's a foundational masterclass that's a replay that I've already done, as well as you get my Purge the Poison ebook. And so these 3 combined will support you, and they will allow you to be supported through the lifestyle that you need to switch, to be healthier, and to support your body. Because it all starts with you taking action and changing for yourself. It all starts with, do you want to be healthier or do you want to keep suffering? Because we're making the wrong choices and we have terrible habits that we need to reparent. We need to reprogram the habits that we have. But it all starts with you wanting change. And so if you have any questions, I will take questions now, but this was a quick live. I just wanted to get on here and talk with everybody. And for the ones that knew or do not know, I was hosting a masterclass today, but I wasn't feeling good. So I am going to move it until I'm debating either Tuesday or Thursday. I'm going to send an email out, but I am moving it to this week instead of today because I was not feeling good. And I want to be at my best, at my highest peak when I do this. So I am going to be moving that masterclass to Tuesday or Thursday, and that will also support you in shifting your mindset and getting in the space of supporting your mindset. And it'll start with, stress decompressing. Thanks for these gifts. Getting that stress out and releasing that stress that you're putting on your body, because majority of society does not understand they're in fight or flight mode, and they do not understand what they're doing to their body. Thanks for all the gifts. These are so cute. They don't truly understand what they're doing to their body and how they've been in fight or flight mode for so long because they've been consuming crap. Thanks for the follow. And they also do not understand the fact that the stress is internally aging you as well as externally aging you. And so it's getting you out of that pessimistic mindset of fitting in this box of normal that is literally making you suffer, and allowing you to get into the space of being an optimist and supporting your body and knowing how to support your body and releasing, resetting, getting to a mental state where you're stable and you're not anxious, you're not depressed. You're not sitting here storing all this cortisol inside of you that's literally making you sick. This masterclass will support you in doing that and shifting your life, because you need to start shifting the way that you are living currently before you get to that 2027, 2030, because you do not understand how they're truly targeting us when it comes to the food that we are consuming. And we're in such a negative space. It's keeping us consuming and just eating for comfort rather than eating to support ourselves. It's keeping us in the space of just doing things for comfort rather than supporting ourselves and healing and being healthy. And so we have to get out of the space of just being unknowing and consuming and not being conscious, but rather to start being conscious of what we're consuming and what we're doing, because they already don't have to tell you that GMOs are in your food. They already don't have to tell you when you're sitting there eating a bunch of crap. And this 1.9 billion people that are sitting there overweight, they're not sitting here doing it on purpose. They're not sitting here choosing to be unhappy when it comes to being healthy and not having a stable weight. Because I was there. I was not choosing to do that to myself. It was just I had no way of really realizing or addressing and dealing with the issue of the instability. So once I got to a space of knowing how to deal with stability and getting in that stable space, I was like, not only is my body healing and I'm feeling better, but I'm looking better. Because my goal at the end of the day, I never wanted to be like Miss Skinny Minnie or anything. I just wanted to feel better. I knew I was having knee pain. I was anxious all the time. I was having panic attacks. I was literally sitting there in and out of depression episodes. And it was all because of the crap that I was consuming and not realizing the fact that like it starts with the food. Your food should be used as medicine. So once I reparented the habits that I had and realized that I needed to reparent all these unhealthy habits that have been passed down generationally, and I reparented those, I started to heal. And so now that my body is in a space of healing constantly and consistently, because I know how to release and reset, I know how to support my body in doing that. And I did it with ease. I didn't have to sit here and go out and do what everybody else is doing and do all of this diet culture, sit here and go and get a BBL to make myself feel better. But I realized the fact that it starts with using food as my medicine. I learned how to release and reset using fruits and vegetables. I learned how to support myself in doing healthy fasts so I'm not starving. And I do not starve in this lifestyle. I've never said, oh my God, I'm starving, I have nothing to eat. That has never come out of my mouth since I've gone plant-based. I never sit there and complain about the food that I'm consuming and sitting there like, I'm tired of eating this, I'm tired of eating this. Because truly, not only has it sparked my creativity, but literally every single thing that I used to love and used to eat can be made in a plant-based form. And so once I started to realize and reparent and reprogram the habits that I had, and I deprogrammed the old crap that I was doing, I shifted my lifestyle. And now I'm here to help and support others in shifting their lifestyle and supporting themselves and healing and releasing and resetting. So if you are seeking and searching for healing and you know that you want that and you need that for yourself, come work with me and I can support you. I'm not seeing any questions, so I guess I'm going to hop off. I hope that everybody has an amazing, amazing rest of their day. Enjoy the weather, and just choose yourself and to reparent the habits that you have that you know that are unhealthy or not supporting you. Do not just keep doing because that's what everybody else does. Realize that it starts with you taking that initiative and releasing that everybody's doing it. And realize the fact that if you want to be healthy, it starts with you. So